Okay, here's a review. Seen it in other videos, but this is a review of building a field. Now, this house with 5 bathrooms, this is going to be a fairly large field, although we have not much space. But a few rules here. First of all, we're starting with, this is what's called STR 26. So this is a thick wall pipe, something that won't deteriorate over the years. And we drilled a 5/8-inch hole on each side, down each side of the pipe. Because the entire idea of a field, of course, is to have controlled distribution throughout the entire field. Now this particular field has 80 lineal meters, or for others, roughly 250 feet of filtration channel. And you just see we're filling it in there now. Now our preferred product for this is river rock, or what they call here huevito. So it's these small pieces that have been polished for thousands of years in a river someplace. This provides for good filtration and no pointy edges to bother anything. So here we have a foot or 30 centimeters of rock below the pipe, and then 10 centimeters or 4 inches above the pipe. And then you can see over top of that is this geotextile. Basically lays over top of this, so over the years there's no filtration of fines, with water going down and taking fines with it down and contaminating the field and plugging up its filtration capacities. So for example, you can see here there's our blanket of geotextile. So that's an important component. Now the other critical component, contrary to common belief, a field is not sloped. Now when you're dealing with solids coming into a septic system, yes, that is sloped at 2%. No more, no less. That is the magic number wherever you are. However, this is not solid. This is effluent coming out of the biodigester. So in this case, a common habit is to slope this. Well, that succeeds in feast or famine. That means if that pipe is sloped, all of the effluent is going to flow out to the far end. So that's going to have feast. This side is going to have famine. So even though you know, as I said, we had 250 lineal feet or 80 lineal meters, but if it's sloped, then you don't have that. Now, the other reason that those holes are there in that pipe is so that the pipe still behaves like a pipe, and it'll fill up to the level of the holes, and then it'll weep out into the aggregate. But as more flushes come in and it fills the septic tank goes into the biodigester, and then the biodigester spits the effluent out into the field. So as that comes out of the biodigester, it's going to raise the level of the pipe throughout the whole network and weep out slowly. If it's sloped, no, that's not. It's going to basically rush off to the far end, and that you got feast, this you got famine. So that is one critical component of how to do this, to have a fully distribution of your entire field, not bits and pieces of it. So that's a common misconception of how a field should work. Now, we have already done several arms here. There's one arm here, there's another arm going through here, and then the center trunk is going back. Now underneath here is the biodigester. This is the vent that we have to finish off yet. There's the vent to the biodigester so that it can breathe. That's going to be heading out and stick its nose out down below. Now, this basically holds 2,000 liters, 2 cubic meters of effluent. This is full of lava rock. This is critically important for a biodigester because lava rock is extremely porous. So what it does is it allows all the bacteria to move into all of those pores and create their little apartments and be your friends that are going to be processing this basically forever. Now here, what you see sticking out, this is a periscope, or I call it a periscope. Basically what it is, that is a tube that goes down. The effluent leaves the settling tank. This is sitting on top. This is our, if you want to call it, outhouse. It's sitting on top of this tank, so that now we're just start discharging directly into the tank. But anyways, when that tank fills up, as it feeds up, then the water overflows, goes down this periscope, heads into the bottom of the biodigester, and then comes up through the biodigester and works its way through, and then spills out the other end of the biodigester and into the field when it is basically processed effluent. Now on this side is the settling tank, which we have buried here 2 weeks or so ago. Anyways, oh, we got a friend here checking out the septic class. You can see him there. Anyways, underneath there, this is a large in this series of tanks. This one is the settling tank here. It basically goes from here. It's over 4 meters long. Goes from here to there. It holds 4,000 liters, 4 cubic meters, or somewhere over 1,000 gallons. These are all fiberglass. I never use concrete tanks. I actually despise them. These are much easier to deal with, plus because they're buried in ground, they will flex and wiggle in an earthquake, for example, or what other conditions, and don't break. And certainly much friendlier to install, as we don't need heavy equipment. In fact, we never use heavy equipment to put these in the ground. This is just, depending on the size, 2, 3, maximum 4 guys put them in the ground. And you can see, laying down more geotextile to create that nice bed there. And so as we tie it in another arm, we got a ways to go. This whole yard is going to be filled with drainage canals. You can see the white line is another one here. That tube there is laying where the next line goes. So basically these channels are every 3 meters or 10 feet and branching off both ways. Now this is the deepest field that I've ever done. Now it's deep because this house is very long, and we have very limited space in which to work with this. So what we have, and I'll continue on with this, it's starting out over in front of the last toilet, is just ahead of the bucket of the backhoe. So from there all the way down here is over a 2-foot drop, because that's where you have your solids dropping in from the toilets into that line. So that's one where it is, as I said, that critical 2% slope. Well, when you have a house this long, a 2% slope going throughout the whole house means we start at the highest point we can at that end, but by the time we get down here, we got another 2 feet we have to go down to have the discharge out into the septic tank, and then come in here to make use of this front yard, backyard, whatever you want to call it, but it's the only space on this lot that is available to do these reasonably. It is possible, if you're absolutely forced into it, you can kind of terrace a field and run it down a hillside like this. But that is a pain in the ass, and I would only do it as an absolute last resort, because you can run again, when we're talking effluent, the slope means nothing. So what you can do is you can run it down and then do horizontal arms going across, and if you don't have enough space, then you take another step down, make another terrace, and then run it horizontally. Because once it's those steps going down, you are not perforated pipe. Then your arms that are going horizontally across the hillside, those are perfectly level. But you have to do a T to separate it off if you got more than one terrace, for example. But that you can do. But you need to say, if I have a choice between a nice flat yard to put it in versus this hillside, I'm going to take and then if you're digging channels, you have to get equipment in there. It's a bit of a challenge, but some people, if you're caught with that and no land and that to do it, that's what you do. But would not be my choice. And the other thing is, with this subterranean moisture here, it does provide trees and plants and whatnot with subterranean moisture year-round. Anyways, that's enough for today's lesson. Until another day.